Do you truly pay attention to the media you consume? I mean, really ask yourself. When you're endlessly doom scrolling through Instagram and you land on that one meme, reel, or post that immediately grips you by the throat and says, "Hey, listen." What is it about that post that truly grabbed your attention when otherwise you'd have simply just swiped away, further adding to the endless pool of content that, frankly, gets disregarded? Greetings, my name is Raven Moore, and today we're going to be talking about the most effective techniques for creating captivating media. We're going to dive into the realm of meta-analysis for a second here and take a look at the first few words that I said at the beginning of the video. The first thing that you say, whether it's for a book, a script, a poem, or a blog post, should be the most effective phrase that you say throughout the entirety of your piece. This is your hook, the short phrase at the intro of your intro that needs to be able to grip your audience within only a few seconds of even looking at your content. With how readily available short-form videos are these days with platforms like TikTok and YouTube, our attention span is more fleeting than Captain America's shield bouncing off of a guy's face. If your content can't grab the viewer's attention fast enough, your content is more than likely going to be added to the island of ignored content. And believe me, you don't want your best work added to this ever-growing dumpster fire. Now, as someone who lives in the 21st century, I do find myself often getting lost in the endless sea of content. I wanted to include this to show off my next point, being authentic and relatable. Think about the most popular superheroes out there right now. Pretty consistently across the board you have Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man. Now sure, you can argue that Batman is relatable due to trauma and grief, but ask yourself, do you find yourself having such an excess of wealth that you can drive around in a multi-million-dollar armored super tank and fight criminals in a rubber suit? No? Well, sorry, unrelatable. Do you find yourself having every single superpower possible, able to solve literally any situation you find yourself in by merit of being second to only a god? No? Me neither. Now, what about Spider-Man? What makes him so relatable? Well, he pretty consistently is late to work and late to school, is pretty much broke all the time, isn't great in most relationships he's in, and masks his mental illness by cracking jokes every chance he can. I don't know about you, but I find myself checking most of these boxes, except of course getting bit by a radioactive spider. In short, if your content doesn't read as relatable, either by speaking to the audience's emotions or personal interests or struggles, then your content is more than likely not going to go very far. This is true not only in a literary sense, but also in business and marketing. Let's take a look at this Nike ad and see how they use not only these media techniques, but many more. Within the first 3 seconds, Nike uses captivating visuals, melancholic music, and the phrase "we're not alone" to establish a sense of community and nostalgia. The hook sets the tone, their audio and video choices further emphasize the relatability that we want. Throughout the entire video, their message maintains that relatability by speaking to the audience's emotions, even going as far as to use reverse psychology by stating, when they say we can't, we prove them wrong. They double down on reverse psychology motif, even down to the title of their video, "You Can't Stop Us." This is a masterful use of a headline to hook your audiences into watching your video. Now, let's switch gears from a blatant advertisement from Nike and dive into one of my favorite creators on YouTube that utilizes all of these media techniques, maybe even without realizing they're doing it. Let me introduce you to RuneSmith. RuneSmith is a YouTuber and content creator who teaches viewers about writing, game design, and all things Dungeons & Dragons. By combining witty banter with first-hand gaming experience, RuneSmith is an insightful and whimsical resource of D&D content that is both accurate and entertaining. His most popular series is his Basically series, where he takes a monster, a race, or other concepts from D&D's wide lexicon of lore and breaks it down into simple, digestible chunks to save the viewer from poring over dusty old tomes like some ancient scholar. So right out the gate, RuneSmith starts his video with a sponsored ad, a third-party companion book of his own design. He shows a combination of pages from the book and relevant memes to make the ad feel more relatable, to hook the audience, and even shows reviews from fellow D&D content creators who also approve of his book. He also keeps it short, relatively 30 seconds or so. That way, he's not taking as much time away from the rest of the video. Another thing I noticed as I was writing this, the entire video is time-lapsed and labeled at specific times in the video where he talks about specific information, which is very considerate and user-friendly for any rewatches of this video. Now, on to the heart of his content. RuneSmith opens up the dialogue with a joke about gnomes, being relevant to the point while also remaining lighthearted. Watching his videos feels more like a porch-side conversation with the boys rather than a suit-and-tie TED Talk, which makes his content so much more enjoyable to watch and listen to. He continues the bit by showing off images of other fantasy races in comparison to gnomes, keeping the content factual yet humorous, making it all the more engaging. He keeps a healthy balance of textual facts via referencing the player's handbook, while also sharing personal insights and creative interpretations of gnomish behavior in D&D. When speaking on gnomish culture, he makes it a point to establish some real-world foundations of where gnomish culture comes from, then compares that to the 3 different sub-races of gnomes in D&D, showing off his first-hand knowledge of working with gnomes in this game setting. He continues the jokes all throughout the entire video, keeping the banter light and whimsical. He even shows personal interpretations of his own gnomish character, Stibbles, who is just a goofy little goober based on the Travelocity gnome, which is actually really funny and kind of hilarious. He ends the video with a similar conclusion to his opening statements, giving a general summary of topics discussed, a few final jokes, and then lets the curtains drop. Both the Nike ad and RuneSmith's video shine in these key factors: the hook remaining relatable and authentic, and the aesthetic. The Nike video hooks you with an inspirational quote, setting a tone of perseverance and community, whereas RuneSmith opens with a joke, setting a tone of fun and whimsy. Both videos use captivating images, music, and visual cues to keep their respective tones and aesthetics at the forefront of their messages. Both videos also keep their dialogues on subject while still maintaining that air of authenticity in their choice of words. I think where RuneSmith shines a little more than the Nike ad is in the fact that he isn't playing a character for a camera. He's being himself, a silly little guy who happens to know a lot about D&D. His knowledge and charisma makes his content so inviting to the viewer that it makes the audience feel like they're right at his gaming table. He uses great and captivating slides, light and medieval sounding music, and genuinely funny memes to share his knowledge and insight. If you're interested in looking at the Nike ad more in depth or wish to check out more of RuneSmith's content, I promise I'm not sponsored by either of these people. Links to both videos are in the description of the video, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.